Any words of wisdom, Mike?
Honestly, we're, like I said, we're trying to make 4-digit numbers on 3-digit parts.
This is a homage beat.
So Corey's grinding away on the truck here, cutting bars out. What's he doing to it?
We're taking the factory core support out of this one. We're going to replace the bars. We're going to move the turbos. Just kind of clean it up a little bit from, you know, the years of changes and things like that. This truck actually belongs to my daughter. We're going to race it this year, hopefully, and can do it with it.
How fast has the truck gone in its prior form?
She has gone 860.
Yeah, 860 is flying. Yeah, that's fast.
Unfortunately, we had some boost controller issues with the old caveman style stuff. It was on a blow-through carburetor and you know, 7531 ignition box, and we're going to upgrade her to fuel injection and a Holly system.
Yeah,
so,
be a big change, yeah.
Big change.
Yeah, for sure.
A little easier and a little more safety. So
if you ask people on the internet, that's not real fast nowadays, but like I've been in stuff kind of that fast, and it's a very fast vehicle. Anything in the 8s is, you're not ready for it if you haven't been anything quick before. It's something. Yeah. So
hopefully, I mean, the cage is only good to, it's a 25.5 cage that John put in. So we're going to hopefully run the cert out this year for her.
Cool.
That'll be the goal.
It's a Chevy 2 or Nova?
Yeah, this belongs to one of our clients. His name is Joe. He is actually coming from a nitrous big block to twin turbos also. We did a full cage in this one. We mounted front clip. We did hot side, cold side, complete wiring, so it's kind of a one-stop.
Yeah, you kind of did everything.
Yeah.
I was looking and I noticed, like, even on the cage, you got Redline like branding on that too. There's a little thing that's all painted and everything.
Yeah.
Like, it looked really nice. But you did all the hot, cold side, everything you were saying, cage, you know, a whole bunch of stuff on this one.
Yep.
That's cool.
This is a dual serve car, 650, 6.0, so he can go as fast as he wants to, as long as he's to the correct weight.
You do a lot of wiring in-house and stuff?
We do, yep. We use top-of-line connectors and looming and, you know, make sure it's clean and safe and, you know, not gonna short out. So this one's pretty tucked away. Spencer, our wiring guy, is very, very meticulous. We can appreciate that. We did bulkhead connectors in this, so if you say you need to take the engine out, you can literally just unplug a couple connectors and
right there.
Yep, stays right on the engine.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome. Yeah, I want to cop that. Yeah, that's really nice.
Yep.
I'm sure to have, you know.
So you can do all your wiring on the stand when you're done, and then just slide it in and plug it in, and you should be able to fire it up and go from where it was to where it is. Yeah, I mean, it's not night-and-day change. We did a Hammer Concepts, you know, rear any roll bar. He didn't have one in here, which is pretty important. The customer actually bought some race wire solution stuff, so that helped us along with the wiring. Other than that, everything is pretty much done in-house. John.
Hi, John.
He's our main fabricator, and he has designed like the rear tank.
You do the chute mount and everything?
Yep.
Yeah, so you do pretty much everything like that in-house. You got, we'll look at all that cutting stuff later, but yeah, you do pretty much everything in-house.
Yep, so John.
Hi, John.
Designs and installs all these upper and down tanks with remote venting, so because nobody wants a left side vent.
Why don't they want a left side vent? You're talking about, like, this would be, I'd call it a puke tank.
Yes.
And it comes out here. Why do you have those?
The engine breathes, so we don't want the fumes underneath the hood, so we need to exit them from the car. Normally, you know, they just have a tube coming out, and you know, obviously we're symmetrical people, so we're kind of picky. John designed this.
Hi, John.
And then made the vent come out the center of the car.
Sure.
You know.
So, phone ended up ringing again here, but we're gonna start going over what's on the dyno right now. This is Mike Dano's Mazda RX7, and right now, just remember, we're in a working shop, so there's a little bit of grinding and noise and banging and stuff going on. We're gonna go over the dyno and some of the high-level stuff.
Well, it's a mainline smart dyno with the tropical hub. We just got it about a year and a half ago. We've got, it's capable of 4,600, it's all-wheel drive.
When you're doing the four-wheel drive on it, you got the whole vehicle suspended on
We do.
Each of these? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
we do.
Okay.
So this version that we have here is just for the rear wheel drive. It's got matching hubs that go on the front so the whole car's up off the ground. Just kind of sits at static height and runs that way. Most people come, they want a number that, they don't realize there's a lot more to it than what is actually entailed. Basically, we're in the car with a laptop, so they generally have a dash and the laptop, so we try to keep an eye on that, making sure we got some warnings and boost cut things, if we make sure we're not over pushing what we want to do. As far as the dyno's concerned, we just basically look at, RPM, boost pressure, make sure everything is where it needs to be, and then we just use this as a reference versus the actual, let's call it diagnostic of it. Most of that stuff is done in the car on the laptop, so we're in real time on the car.
Looking over the car here with Mike, and he's got himself a stick shift in the Mazda. So, said it's from Liberty, it's faceplated first through fourth, but it is a stick shift. So, pretty cool. I'll take ECU.
So right now I've just changed over to race plugs. So for the motor we have cold start plugs, and then you have race plugs. Basically these ones are about 30 bucks a piece, and when you cold start a rotary they follow them out. So they're all black like that, and then when you race on them and you use them once the motor is fully heated up, it makes it so that the plug is a lot cleaner.
They come out clean then?
Yeah, like this is off of all of our dyno poles and everything, so that's a nice clean plug.
So you got cold start plugs.
Yeah, you don't want to use this at 30 bucks a piece, cold start with these, and then you do rips on
Foul them out.
Yeah,
no.
detonate the motor. So basically I just warm it up, get to full temp, and then be able to do some pulls on these, see where we're at. And then it's more realistic conditions when you go down the track.
Yeah, it'll be up to temp on clean plugs, you're not junked them.
Plugs, exactly.
Gotcha.
So you have, basically you can duplicate the runs each time. But
what's the engine combo in here now in turbo? What's that combo?
So this is a 2-rotor 13B. So 13B comes in various, I guess, series. This is a Series 6 REW engine. And then the turbo combination is a 8385 Gen 2 precision turbo. And then the intake is a E&J intake. It's like a 1450 4-barrel. And then on this one we run 10 injectors. So 10 2150 cc injectors staged at 5 stages, 5 levels.
10 of them seems excessive. That seems like a lot for like what it is. Like what's the displacement on this engine exactly?
Well, it's 1.3 liters. People contradict like what it actually is displacement wise.
Yeah.
Technically it is 1.3 liters.
Okay, so
The size itself, it's 90 cubic inches.
Okay, interesting. That's going to make a ton of jam for 90 cubic inches. It's pretty interesting. So
and not only that, so like when you think about it, on here, like this has 5 stages of injectors. So far to make 820 horsepower, we've only done 3 stages.
Oh wow!
So we have plenty.
You got plenty of fuel left. Okay.
Left to be able to do it, and it runs off of a mechanical belt-driven fuel pump. So we're not going to run out of fuel.
Is this guy here?
That's just a right here is your fuel pump right there.
Okay.
So that runs plenty.
Yep. Big fuel filter, and you got a big fuel line. Yeah, wow.
So I mean,
cool.
Should be good there. The transmission, TKX transmission, McLeod, basically twin disc, clutch. So this is a manual transmission, 5-speed. And then for the rear end, we're running a 8.8, just a SM95 8.8.
Okay.
So it is a triangulated rear end, and it literally uses the factory measurements off of a Mustang for the rear.
It's like a factory length 8.8 out of a Mustang,
basically
pretty much.
Grafted in.
Yeah. Okay.
A Mustang rear end in the back of the car to make it so it's more tunable.
And this, I'm more of a layperson with RX7. This would have been an independent or a solid rear end from the factory. So it would have been independent rear end from the factory. Okay.
Would have been independent rear end.
Okay, gotcha.
Which a lot of guys use, like they make kits to do like a Ford Explorer 8.8 differential.
Yeah, the center section deal, like 240 guys do it too, drifting and whatnot, or all sorts of people. Yeah,
Same deal. Okay. If you want to actually drag race, the actual Mustang rear end is the way.
Makes sense. Well, cool. He's working on the car, doing some tuning on it here, and we'll see a couple pulls here in just a little bit. Michael's saying here, he's got his guy Nathan remote tuning right now. So he's actually in the Haltech ECU from Texas, and he's making some revisions to it. And I think pretty quick he'll make a pull on it and a log and see what's happening. But he is remote tuning right now from out of state, which is pretty cool to see. So first time for me seeing it too. Words of wisdom, Mike?
You know, honestly, we're, like I said, we're trying to make 4-digit numbers on 3-digit parts. You know what I mean? Like that's about all you can say about that.
That was about perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
4-digit numbers on 3-digit parts.
Yeah. I mean, we're so close. It's like, and I welded that, by the way, so I'm not going to blame anybody but myself.
Hey, what do you do?
And this is when I first started learning how to weld, so it is what it is. We're gonna try to fix it. The other thing that's worrying me right now is this. So I don't know how much further we're gonna get on that. I'm gonna probably just cut this and then try to just run only on the 3.
Get rid of the gack
just get rid of the part that's broken.
Yeah.
And then run it on 3 ribs and try that. But I can see through the pull it's slipping and the battery voltage is dropping.
Oh, is that how you're putting the charger on? It wasn't keeping up?
Charge on
oh,
just to keep
I was wondering why. Okay.
So that is definitely needs to be replaced. But like I said, I don't know how much further we're going to be able to get on this at this point in time. We're going to try to weld this right now with Corey and see what he says. Other than that, if it still is an issue, we're going to have to call it. But it's more power than the car's ever made. So.
Look at you guys. Yeah, very nice. Looking good.
Well, and the other thing is too is
this one we did a 850 cage in. John again designed this one. It's got all 4 bars, all the room in this. And you can still close the door, and if you look down in here, it doesn't touch, but it looks like it.
Let's see how close the light on it for you guys. It's close and it does not touch. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
So he's going to try to go a little bit faster, and hopefully we can, watch him do that. This car is a customer brought it in, wants a full suspension car. This is more of a Pro Street deal. We basically cut the floor out of it, custom did all the suspension. We wanted his rockers full between 4 and 5 inches off the ground. So it's kind of what we gave him. It's got triangulated 4-link in the rear rather than the leaf springs. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. So no cage going up into this one. We did all floors, did the dash, poly.
Looking under this Nova, and the amount of metalwork that you would not see without actually sticking a light under it and going over it is impressive. There's nothing stock at all under here as far as metalwork goes. So maybe I can aim this while we're looking. But yeah, you want to point some of that stuff out again like you're doing? But yeah, the metalwork they did was just, it's all over the place. So check some of this out.
Yeah, we cut the whole floor of this thing from front to back, just to make it sit where it needs to sit and the geometry to be correct. And you know, nobody ever sees the stuff that really matters and where all their money and time goes. So.
No, because you know, even myself, I was looking at the car from the side, and you can't tell. It sits nice, but you don't see under the car. But like, look everywhere in here. Just everywhere you look, there's metal work and bars done, and you know, just everywhere. Yeah, it's really impressive. So you kind of get the idea, but the whole car under here is like this. It's just everywhere. Do you have any idea how many hours are in something like this at this point, or no?
I think this one we're probably sitting somewhere around 150 hours.
Sure. Yeah, and see, this is like weeks of work, you know, for a guy easily. Yeah, it would have to. Maybe if you've ever done any welding or anything like that, you would know that this is weeks of work if you're good at it. You know, and it turned out nice. So
well, we TIG weld everything that we can. Corey's our welder, and he is very good at what he does. So as you can see, like these welds are MIG welded. We did all of that here, so that's all MIG. That's MIG. But the fine work down here, like where you showed earlier, you know, all this is all TIG stuff. So, you know, we're not blowing through panels and creating more work for somebody else. So
yeah, and that takes extra time too, and you got to be skilled to make it turn out well like that. You have to be a proficient welder. So
yeah, it's attention to detail.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's impressive. So yeah, pretty much when you go into the car, just everything.
Yep. Custom tranny mounts and motor mounts and.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot to take in when you first start looking at it, but everywhere you look, there's stuff to look at, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, just...
Even this tranny cross, remember, is, you know, the holes and through bolts in it, or the slotted, I guess whatever you call them, the tube, that's just like aesthetically, I guess, yeah, just that little bit there.
Well, anybody can build something and throw it in, you know?
Yeah, it's like you didn't have to do that, so you guys made that what it shows. That took a lot of time. Yeah.
We're meticulous people, so we want to look at it.
Yeah, it's all TIG welded. It's really something, so yeah. I'll show you guys some more B-roll of under this car. There's a lot to look at. We can't really go over it right now, but anyway, this car's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff to look at on this one, but we're gonna hop over onto this car next, which there's even more to look at on that one. So John here, he did pretty much all the design and the type of like, what do you call like fab work on the car, and according to the welding and whatnot, or how'd that work?
Yep. John had designed the whole car. Everything that you see, every bar, every tube, every Zeus fastener, he has designed it in program, and then his imagination comes to light in this form.
I was really geeking out over this, and I hope you guys watching like this too, but it's really cool. I've never really seen something like this in person, so
yeah, like we had a concern that the drive shaft might end up hitting this cross member under full suspension extension, and so building in the computer, we can actually simulate that and make sure that the drive shaft will never touch right there, and plenty of clearance. So pretty cool little way to simulate everything and make sure it's never ever going to be a problem.
Yeah, and those watching don't know, but you built this entire model in here basically, right? You did every bar, every piece of brake, everything, the wheels, you know, you said there were bearings and stuff, like it's very detailed.
The only thing I didn't create in here was the engine block and cylinder heads. I downloaded that because it's an LS model. That's a download that I did, but other than that, every component in here I made myself in the computer, right down to the strange rack. I made that, the AFCO struts, the strange brakes, everything, the rear end housing. The rear end housing we bought from Hammer Concepts, but I modeled it just so I could make external components for the rear end housing that I know would fit. We would obviously never try to replicate or duplicate that, because this is Hammer's design, so we would never try to replicate that and manufacture it, but I made it just so I could make components that would attach to it of our own, and so I know that they would fit this housing.
That's a good distinction to make. You want to be able to build off of it or attach things to it. So anyway, yeah, really cool. But you built a parachute mount, and it's cool when you can design something like that on the computer and hold it in real life not long after the fact. It's pretty cool. So the dual chute mount there, and
I mean, you even put in the action of the of the air ram and everything. It's all
That's crazy.
in the computer.
Yeah, I don't know. I found it really fascinating. Like I would have never guessed that it's actually functional, you know? So it's pretty cool.
And then you go from that to holding the real thing in your hand. There's just nothing cooler than that.
No, it is really cool. And then obviously, like, anything ever happens to your car, something gets bent or whatever, you can replicate bars and things very easily. There's no guesswork and measuring. You got it right there, and you can use your equipment and stuff and just replicate it easily. So
Somebody touches the wall or whatever, messes something up, or
yeah, not the end of the world. So it's a lot more helpful to have that stuff easily replicatable. But yeah, pretty cool. So it's not quite just measuring and cutting. There's a lot of like actual like real precise work and measuring going on. So it sounds like you guys 3D scanned the body and everything too to make sure bars and stuff are going to fit. So 3D scan. Jad was saying there's a couple of these peck marks here yet. So here and here. But anyway, yeah, super cool. I want to show you guys that. So you can do all sorts of stuff here. Yeah, John did all the design work on here and tons of detail. Everything seems like it fits really, really well looking at it. Is it everything? All the bars, like chassis, everything?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, everything. Yeah. It's I don't know where it stops. So.
I know you hear a grinder in the background. Quite to the contrary, Corey is not just a good grinder. He is actually a good welder. He's the guy who welds everything you see here together. And if you look, I mean, they're nice.
Yeah. Well, you look everywhere and it's all very well done. Like anywhere you look, I mean, we can spend all day going over every little weld on it because there's about 500 hours of welding on this already, but it's like
there is quite literally almost that.
It's everywhere. It's all TIG welded here, and it's endless, you know. So, without getting mired in it right now, yeah. What's the kind of high level stuff on Steve Morris engine, twins, you know, kind of the whole deal. This has got kitchen sink thrown at it.
Yep. This is a basically a dream build for the customer. He said he wanted the car, so we're going to do our best and make him the car. So.
Yeah.
It has a Steve Morris LS engine in it. Steve actually has a dyno on this dyno segment. It was the engine that they did the twin fuel deal on.
Okay.
So it's got some Mark superchargers on it. And we're gonna finish it up for him. Hopefully, be a good hot rod.
Yeah.
John designed like the dash over there. If you look at that, that's our dash.
There you go.
Yep.
Put like a Holly on it or something.
Yep. It'll hold the Holly screen. Fully adjustable. So you can actually
Open this door.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. So this is something John decided to keep it out of the way of the steering wheel and still have full function, and it tilts up.
Oh, it's got back. Features.
Yep, it's got features.
See, you know what? I love that. I would not have noticed that, but it's adjustable.
Yep.
So there's thought put into this stuff too. This is not just looking good; it's functional. So
yes.
I really like that. I didn't realize it did that.
The job is the functionality and the vision. So.
How does Corey fit in here to weld all this stuff? Like, to get around everything? I've never understood that. Like, I went to welding school,
sure,
and I TIG weld a little bit still, but like, I don't understand how these guys do this proficiently. Like, you got to be like a pretzel in here.
He was definitely a pretzel in here. It's mildly impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it is. If you ever tried TIG welding, you would know that this is difficult. I mean, there's nothing simple about this.
There is some other videos of him, hanging upside down and, in some peculiar positions to get to the places that need to be got.
Yeah, you'd have to be.
Yeah. So, some of the stuff is easy. I mean, we can flip the car over once we assemble, then we disassemble. We mount literally everything in the whole car, wiring, everything to make the car run, and then we get to disassemble it, and then we ship it out to powder coating, and then the bodywork will get done, and then we get to do the final assembly after that. So. Yeah.
Wow.
We go over every single weld, make sure everyone got hit, nothing is missed, and go from there. So some are easy and some are really, really difficult. Yeah.
You got a little everything. Steering wheel hanger, all that. You do all the carbon panel work in here and everything, cut all that?
Yep.
Okay. So pretty much everything you see in here. Yeah, it's everything.
Panels. We did some custom printed door holes.
There you go.
Door handles.
Chevy too.
Again, John designed those because they were kind of hideous before, but yeah, this was a
all this for the window net.
Yep.
Wow. What's this cage started to?
This will be a 6.0 deal.
Okay. Yeah, this will be serious deal.
Yeah.
Little feature. You already know about this, but the return on top of the throttle. You don't see it on a lot of cars. Pull back. Is that for if it gets stuck or something like that, or what's that for exactly?
Yeah. So like when you bigger boost engines, you know, sometimes it likes to hang a throttle body, and you know you got to manually, you know, lift it up. So
There you go for your toes there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Allows optimal throttle control when needed.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah, it's just those little things you won't see on your normal like vehicle, you know, stuff like that, and features that when you start noticing, there's little things everywhere that are just different. So
Right.
yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, there's trunk work's all done too. There's bars all over under the car. It's just
Yep.
yeah, everywhere you look, there's something to look
We
at.
actually
It's
built the
a
whole
lot.
ring in this thing.
The whole
whole housing.
housing and everything.
We actually
Oh yeah. See the lights.
we
Yeah, the lights
partnered
are-
up with Strange and Hammer Concept. It's got their fully adjustable Hammer Concept 4-link bars and or brackets, and Strange for the brakes. But
Yeah.
we built the whole housing in house here. So
Wow.
biggest
Whole housing and everything.
hammer roll bar that you can put in the thing. I mean, it's like when we get the body off this thing, it's like a piece of jewelry. It's a shame you got to cover it all up.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, yeah, just the amount of metalwork and pipes and stuff. It's just
Yep.
wow. It's a lot to take in when you look at it at first. It's a lot.
Yeah, you don't. Again, it's one of those things where you just don't see the work.
No, like I was saying, everywhere you look, there's all this. And do you guys cut these brackets, or do you order this kind of thing, or what?
We do order them now. We will have a laser machine here to make our own, but
Yeah, that's how.
it's growing pains. So
Yeah. Well, you made everything. You know, that's what I was like. I figured maybe you made all that, but
Nope.
no. Okay. Anyway,
Oh, this is a remote cable. This thing's kind of cool.
what's that?
This cable here is for just in case you get in your car, and then you decide like, oh, I forgot to turn my power on, so we're gonna have a lever up there so you can
Oh.
actually turn it on from inside the car.
Well, so some of you guys might not know, but you can go shut off your buddy's power on his car. It's really funny when they get in the driver's seat and belted in and the power's off. It's real funny. So that is the shutdown lever for that up in the driver's seat, which is actually, that's a nice feature. I didn't realize that you could have one or had that as an option on vehicles and stuff, but that makes a lot of sense.
That's again design.
Yeah.
It was an idea from John. You know, when you're a full-size athletic man, like most
Yeah.
of us are,
Yep.
you don't want to be all buckled up in the car and then have to try to climb back out of the
No,
thing. So
it's super
much easier
frustrating.
to put a lever in there and to be able to turn it on from
Yep.
inside the car, so it
Yeah.
still functions normally outside. So.
Yeah, that's a nice idea for sure. But yeah, look everywhere. Back here. We'll cut into that. Yeah, just everything's cool. A lot of attention to detail on here. A lot of attention to detail. You know, it's like you can look at some like cars with cages at car shows and things like that, or like a little bit of metal work done to them. You can tell if they're done to like a really high standard or done to like the garage standard. This is all very nice to know when you look at it. So it shows really well in person.
Right.
So it's impressive. I looked at them a little bit. You know, I was here the other day and then one time prior, but when you get up close and personal, you can see how nice everything really is when you kind of look and touch it. You know, it's all very nice. So yeah, really cool. Jad was mentioning that this carbon panel here is moving around a little bit, but that's because there's aluminum behind it. So you're saying that, why is that placed there?
So we just, the bottom of the tub here has a small chunk of aluminum on it so that when you're doing burnouts and things like that, it doesn't break the carbon. I mean, carbon is strong, but it does crack and leave some marks, and nobody wants to see that.
No, it makes sense.
Yep.
You don't notice it from the trunk, but you know.
So then we just build the whole panel and then fill the bottom in with the aluminum from the inside and then repanel it back after. So you don't know from the outside, but it's protected from the inside.
There you go. There it is. Stuff you don't notice. So that's saying attention to detail and like thought put into stuff is really, really top notch. Yeah. It's your busy time of year.
I'm gonna move some stuff around this week. I don't know. People were in there trying to get some of the camera.
Popular place today.
People smell something.
All right, so Corey welded the intercooler all back together. Got it all dialed in. We're gonna see if we can hold some boost this time. Mike's gonna put some more heat in the motor and make another pull here.
90,000 RPM.
basically right now, it sounds like Mike's chasing down a boost leak. He's gonna check everything's nice and tight on here. He just had it all apart, but it's not making more power by the looks of it than it did prior. So he's looking for boost leaks right now. Yeah. Still out there holding it. Chasing a boost leak. So, don't know yet.
Check for leaks.
So Mike's a little unsure right now. He's working, but the tuner is asking him to check for leaks basically. So he's putting an eyeball on hand on everything and a wrench. So we'll see if it makes any more. We'll see if he's gonna make another pull here in a little bit or not. But I'll get back to you guys with an update in a little bit.
Intake gasket problem with this isolator here, it keeps sucking in.
It's kind of surprising it actually sucks that in versus drafting through the carbs. That's kind of impressive.
Well, we think that it might or may not have hit the rev limiter because there wouldn't be no other reason for it to get knocked in or out.
So if it's not a limiter, it must change pressure and that
Yeah.
plant them that violently, it'll suck it in probably. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
That's a change, so
Okay.
create some problem.
Okay.
Something kind of along them lines. We can figure it out. Figure out what's going on.
Hi, Spence.
Whole front end's cut out on the truck now. A couple hours later. There's nothing left.
Chop cut rebuild.
This is a homage beat.
So that's gonna about do it for today's video. Thank you to everybody at Redline Performance for letting me shadow them for the day. Check their shop out, what they got going on. Shout out to Mike for making 950 on the hub dyno and his RX7. So if you're looking for any fabrication type work done, that is the place to go in the Twin Ports, or if you're from the surrounding area, please consider making the trip up to Superior and Redline. If you're looking to put your car on a dyno, especially something with big power, hub dyno is the way to go. They do have the hub dyno available for renting, and those services and equipment are up for rent as well. So if you need time on it, give them a call. Next video we got coming up is on the racetrack, Corvette, and we got ourselves a Mustang back there. So until then, we'll see you guys in the next video.